Hello, everybody. Hello. Happy day. Happy week. How are ya? Welcome to episode 14. I think it's 14 with of the Vibecast with Brent Pella. This week, my boy Jim is on the show, a.k.a. Gesture, JSTJR, incredible DJ, super cool music producer, and just genuinely good person. Just a great human to have on planet Earth. I think he's raising the positive energy of the world every day he's on planet Earth. So we should all be grateful for having Jim in our lives. We had a great conversation. We don't get to see each other that often. It's mainly, I think it's only been at music festivals, but we do the whole likes online thing back and forth to let each other know that we're still friends. And it's just great to sit down and connect with people that you don't often get a chance to connect with. And that's what this was. I had a great time. We talked about his rise in music and thoughts on music and culture in today's age, and got into a lot of spirituality conversation too, which is awesome to talk about and just kind of decompress from the lives that we both live as digital creators. And I think a lot of the stuff that we touch on, I think, is relevant to people in any industry, in any field, whether it's creative or not creative. Everybody's creative anyways, but there's a lot that we talked about that I think I'm going to continue to think about and bring with me back into my life as I exit this podcast today. This episode is brought to you by a couple cool things. Number one is the Vibe, viberose.com. We are live. This is my rosé from the ground up. I built this with a bunch of awesome people on the team. And we are launched, currently shipping to California, Texas, Florida, and Arizona, soon to be New York, and then the rest of the world, and then the rest of the universe. Viberose.com, VYBROSE.com. And for podcast listeners only, you can use the discount code VIBRATE, that's vibrate with a Y, in capital letters, for 30% off your order. And we will deliver you delicious California-style rosé wine. The whole purpose behind building this brand was to give people another opportunity to facilitate happiness and joyful connection and smiles and eye contact, which I don't think a lot of people do enough of these days. So go get some rosé. Vibrate is the code, the promo code Vibrate. And viberose.com is the vibe. Also brought to you by Cacao Bliss. Love Cacao Bliss. Scoop of this in your morning coffee or smoothie is real. The only things I try to share with you guys are things that I actively use in my life. I'm done doing ads for brands that I don't care about or just needed the money. I did that. I've done that before, all right? And I'm not going to do that anymore. From now on, I'm only doing ads for things that I actively use and have integrated in my life for a long time. Cacao Bliss is literally one of those things. I've been rocking with them since like 2018. Made of superfoods, super delicious, chocolatey, rich, ceremonial grade cacao, which is a fancy way of saying this cacao is organic and all natural and super, super good for you, full of antioxidants. Shop.earthechofoods.com/Brent will get you there. Last one is Nootopia. These are the nootropics that I recently started trying this year. Really dig them. Took one of these before today's podcast and had a great time. This is a customizable program of nootropics, different supplements that can help boost your brain in different ways. You can go to nootopia.com/Brent. That's NOOTOPIA.com/Brent. Fill out a quick survey, and that'll ask you questions about what you're trying to do with your brain. You're trying to be a little more relaxed, a little more creative. You try to see through walls. You're trying to have less brain fog, procrastination. They can build a program that can help optimize your brain. Nootopia.com/Brent. All right. Let's get into it, dude. This is super fun. Oh, I got new merch, as you can see. Good vibes, mandatory, as if I'm not trying to sell you enough fucking shit already. You know what I mean? Got a bunch of new designs, though. BrentPella.com. Cruise over there. Check it out. You get 20% off the merch. A lot of cool stuff dropping over there. Shirts, T-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. All kinds of cool designs. You will dig them for sure. I'm on the road still. BrentPella.com/shows. I got shows coming up. This week, I think I am... Ooh, where am I? have I already done DC by now? I think I did. I did DC July 7 through 9. And then Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh, and a bunch of other places coming up. San Diego at the end of the month. Denver at the Denver Improv on Thursday, August 4th. And I'm always adding tour dates. So BrentPella.com/shows. Oh, Sedona, Arizona, September 23rd. That's going to be a rager. If you're in Phoenix, Tempe, anywhere really within a couple hours of Sedona, get your ass to Sedona. It's the VortiFest, VORTI Fest. Search for VortiFest Sedona, and you will find tickets to my show at the Performing Arts Center on Friday, September 23rd. I'm going to keep posting about it on my Instagram stories too, so go check that out. And please enjoy this episode with my good buddy, Gesture.
Good.
What's
Brent?
good, bro? Do your fans know your name is Jim? Do you think a lot of them know?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
But also James, like that's my real name, my government
that
name.
makes sense. Okay.
So some people like none of my friends really use James, so people will be like, "Hey, James," and then I'll be like, "No, you don't really know me."
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with Gesture?
It's my initials, actually. So that's why people know my name is James, because when I describe what my name is, it's James Stanley Tomaszewski Jr., JSTJR.
Oh, my God. You have like 8 names.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, I just had that like username on like the internet on like a couple of sites when I was deciding to be a DJ.
Cool.
And I was like, this is cool. It's like my name. And like, I always say like, I wish I could go back and just be like DJ Lawnmower or whatever, you know, like something so
dumb.
Different and dumb that like you
DJ
can Google
Cardboard.
it. Yeah. It's like
yeah.
DJ Snake is a really good example. And I think like I've heard that he doesn't like his name, you know,
really,
but it's like, dude, that's like, it's so easy to remember.
It's so simple.
I
easy.
for sure have lost like market share just because of my name, you know,
Yeah,
and, like,
sure.
you know, just like people being like, if they see it, like they're not gonna remember how to type it in or whatever.
Right,
you know,
right,
like,
right.
Yeah, so
and if they tell each other word of mouth, they're
Yeah,
gonna be like, "Oh, Jester,
yeah, oh, for sure, always Jester,
like a court jester, right?
Always
sure.
Jester.
He's
like,
a clown on stage.
Why would I put the second J if it's gonna be Jester?
Right,
like,
right.
Like, where does that go? Where does that go? Oh man,
That's funny, dude.
yeah, that's like my. Yeah. That's
so Gesture. So your full. Can you say your full name again for the record?
James Stanley Tomaszewski Jr.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what? Where? Why so many names? It's dope.
Well, it's my
All
middle
the names
name.
are dope.
Just my middle name.
Your
It's
middle name
James,
is your middle name
James
hyphened?
Stanley. No, James Stanley, and then Tomaszewski is my last name, and Junior.
Tomaszewski.
I'm a junior.
Got it. Oh, you're a junior. Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right on. Hell yeah, dude. How long have you been playing? Did you start producing music in high school?
Yeah,
like early on.
Yeah. I always had like Fruity Loops on my computer, even like I don't know, like
Fruity
13.
Loops. Yeah.
You know, FL Studio now they call it.
Dude. Yeah.
And I was DJing like I would just like pirate, you know, programs and mess around with them. And then I was in bands like punk bands or pop punk bands,
cool,
and, like shit like that. And I always played the drums. I was always doing music like from a young age.
Dude, how dope was pop punk?
Oh yeah,
that we had growing up.
That's
We're probably the same age.
I'm 90.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Oh.
Dude, the pop punk bands that we had was like that like raised me.
Yeah,
in a way.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And I was really into like Linkin Park, so I
Yes!
always like
Yeah.
teetered into this like, and I didn't understand it, but I always teetered into like electronic music influence on the rock music, you know?
Yeah.
And then kind of like even in junior high, I like knew Tiesto.
Yeah.
I didn't really get that there was like a whole thing. I just like, I like Tiesto, or I like techno, you would just call it back then, you know? And I would go like on Kaza or like LimeWire and type in like
Oh my
techno,
God.
you know?
Yeah,
So I had like James Bond techno, like shitty, you know? Like it'd be like dumb remixes.
Yeah.
So I was like always into that shit, and I didn't know really what it was. Did pop punk and like screamo and shit in high school.
Wow. Did you sing?
I would usually sing,
Or
even
scream,
though I was
I
a
guess?
drummer.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't like good at all. I
Sure.
mean, I was okay. You know, it's pop punk, so you
Yeah.
don't have to be good.
What were some of the best pop punk bands back then? There were like
I mean, I was like a Blink stan.
Blink,
and like
okay.
Sum 41.
Sum
and
41 for sure. That was the first concert I ever went to.
Sum
was
41?
Sum 41, yeah,
Sick.
at the Six Flags Amphitheater in San Jose, California at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. They were playing.
Fire.
So they must have been on their way up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Them, Papa Roach was huge.
Oh, yeah, I like Papa Roach.
I remember Cake, but I don't know if Cake would count.
Not pop punk.
Not
probably.
pop punk, yeah.
I don't know, like alt
rock, something like that. What else?
I was into Alien Ant Farm too.
Alien Ant
Even though like
Farm.
one album
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
But that like Linkin Park played a huge role. Like 5th grade, my buddy like best friend suggested Alien Ant Farm and Linkin Park to me.
Yeah.
And, like those 2 CDs.
Oh,
Hybrid
dude, Linkin
Theory.
Park, Hybrid Theory.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yep,
Bro,
I
those
listened
are,
to
like,
that front to back a million
over and
times.
over. Yeah.
Oh, what a time.
So good.
They don't. Is there pop punk today, or was that a phase?
Dude, I think it's coming back. It's
think
like
so?
the TikTok generation is like loving that shit.
Really?
Man. Yeah, dude. I see it all over TikTok.
Okay.
Kids like reenacting. And then like, Machine Gun Kelly,
Oh,
for lack of a better
reenacting
example.
our era?
Yeah, like
Okay.
like there's also like, just pop music is now it's cool. I feel like rap music got influenced by pop punk and punk. And then that re-influenced pop punk to be like it's white dudes with like rap beats doing fucking I don't know, it's
like kind of rap singing sometimes.
No, which is like what Blink was actually kind of doing too.
100%.
So it's like it's
they
really
absolutely
cool.
started that.
I was actually talking about this the other day because I heard a pop punk song that was like a beat, and I was like to my wife, I was like, dude, it's like literally like rap took pop punk, made it cool, and then pop punk took that. So now pop punk is rap.
Yeah, it's cool, dude. It's like constantly evolving.
That's why I love music, because it's like I've always been the person to like want to take 2 genres and see how they sound together, especially like weird genres and like mainstream genres.
Yeah.
So that kind of musical like what's the word, like
influence?
Yeah, no, like evolution.
Yeah.
That kind of like evolution through music is always like so cool for me.
Did you at what point did you start to lean toward electronic?
Actually took acid at like the first music festival I went to. I was like into like dubstep when like Rusko was big.
Yeah.
And I went to go see in New England. I'm from New Hampshire, so I went.
Cool.
There was like a touring music festival called Identity Fest. So that was like the only thing we would get up in that area. And I took some acid and I like watched all the DJs and I was like, bro, I want to do this. Like,
that's so cool. And you were already musically inclined,
right? Yeah. I was actually making like hip hop beats and like rapping at the time a bit,
No
like
shit.
old school, like MF Doom kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it kind of just switched my gears, and like I got like I already kind of knew how to DJ, but like I got like a DJ controller and like started really honing in on that.
Cool, because of the acid medicine.
I mean, pretty much.
Dude, that's rad.
Yeah.
Wait, was Identity Fest more of a mainstream festival or like a hippie kind of transformational?
It was like at the peak of EDM, so it was like
okay.
But like Steve Aoki was like early, like Cascade headlined. I can't remember who else headlined, but Cascade was like the end.
Yeah,
where I was like, dude, it was just like,
who's the big trance DJ?
There's a lot.
There's a lot, but there's one in particular. I'm trying to think. He's a little older.
There's like Above and Beyond is like,
forget his name.
I don't know.
He goes by like his name. I'll think of it halfway through this. Yeah, that's rad, dude. How old were you when that happened?
I was 20, about to turn 21. Yeah,
cool.
So it was kind of like perfect timing too, because like my first gig as a DJ was in like January after my birthday in December. So that was like August. I started DJing and then like just hitting up every club with like my mixes in the area. And then
just local clubs.
Yeah, like so I'm from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But I'm from like 40 minutes outside of Boston. I was like a suburb of Boston, so I would hit up the Boston clubs and none of them would like get back. But then it was like peak EDM, so it was like there was a club in my town in Nashua, in New Hampshire called Nashua. It's like
Nashua, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Didn't there used to be a school out there, a college? The first college show I ever did was in Nashua, New Hampshire.
There's some colleges.
It was like an aviation school.
Yeah, Danny Webster.
Yeah,
I grew up around there. Yeah.
Yes, dude, that's crazy. That's the first time I ever got paid to do comedy.
Oh no way!
It was like my first real check. It was like $1,000 to do a college show.
That's cool.
And I remember I was in my rental car. I had to drive there from the airport. It was middle fucking winter. Like everything around me is either dead or covered in snow.
Yeah.
And I show up and there's like 18 people in the audience. There's barely anybody.
Yeah. And
I do the show and it was fine. And they hand me the check, and I walk back to my car, I open the envelope, and I saw like $1,000 printed on it.
Yeah, that's the
I
best.
teared up. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, this is real. It's crazy. That's my rent on a piece of paper. That's awesome. Wild. Yeah. Anyways, Nashua has a special place. in my
that's
heart,
awesome.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I played my first gig there, and like kind of in that time, you had to just like promote the parties, and they'd be like, you can open, you're just kind of like a henchman for these parties,
right? It's almost like a bringer show. Like they want you to really promote and bring.
It was like almost like some of them were like sell tickets in a way, that kind of mentality.
Wow. The similarities between that and like coming up in comedy are huge.
It's the same, I think. It's just
because there's people that are like, I'll put you on my 8 o'clock primetime show. Can you bring 20 people?
Yeah.
and then you have to go out and like actually hustle for people, and you're only doing 5 minutes. But your set, I'm sure, was longer, right? It was like 30.
It's like an hour, 45 hour, yeah. So started making some like remixes, and I really got into this. Like, I'm a percussionist. I went to school for percussion, so I got into these kind of like African inspired genres that were coming out of like Portugal.
Oh, wow.
And like it's called Zouk bass at the time, was like this kind of new thing, is like kind of Moombahton vibe. And so I was making that, and it got kind of like noticed. Like Diplo was playing some of the edits I made, and that was probably like a year and a half after I started, or so, or maybe just a half a year. I can't remember the timeline. Maybe it was that summer, actually. And so that kind of like, then the Boston scene kind of took notice and started playing more shows, and then just
nice.
Now I'm here.
That's killer, dude. Wow. What was it like when you first started hearing people like Diplo spinning your stuff?
That was like this.
Is that pretty crazy?
Same as the opening the check, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely tear up a bit, and like, damn, like this is it, you know.
Wow.
And soon after, he actually DM'd me on SoundCloud. He's like, yo, do you have Ableton? And I was still using FL. He literally just cold DM'd me, do you have Ableton? And I was like, what? Like, no, but I'll do anything. Like, I'll learn it. Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
And he just sent me stems, and I worked on a Major Lazer song called Light It Up. That was like the crazy
I love
shit.
Light It Up.
Yeah. I made the drums for Light It Up.
No shit.
Yeah, and I was still like living in my college house that in Keene, New Hampshire. I went to school in Keene, New Hampshire. Dude,
and that was off of random DM. You'd never met him before or anything?
I probably sent him some songs. He was playing.
Sure.
He was playing this one edit that he really liked that I did the drums on. So it was basically like, hey, I want the drums from this edit for this track.
Wow.
You know? They sent me the stems.
That's dope. Shout out to Diplo.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
I mean, dude, he's
that's super cool.
That's the guy for like doing that kind of thing, man. Like he literally brought up so many artists.
Yeah, I know Ricky
cool
produces for him, or did, or still does.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's really cool.
That was the start of everything. Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. That doesn't happen in comedy. There's no like I can't hit somebody up and be like, hey dude, that dick joke
I just want
was really, can I get some of that dick joke
just
for
like
this
that,
joke?
like the punchline. Can you like reword that?
Can you reword that dick joke for me?
But like titties. Like.
Make it titties. This is gonna be sick.
Pretty much.
I'm remixing a joke, dude. It's gonna be dope.
That's definitely the better part of music versus comedy.
That's killer, dude. So you grow in the Boston scene. Are you a Patriots fan, by the way?
I don't really do sports.
Not a big sports guy?
So yeah,
Okay.
Sure.
You're the one person from New England.
I know.
That's not a psychotic sports fan.
It's true. I mean, growing up is like, why wouldn't you be a sports fan? Because you win all the time. Like everybody was always winning, all the teams.
Yeah, you guys were lucky. I mean, I grew up a Patriots fan because my whole family's from Rhode Island.
Oh, cool.
So they were all over Boston, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maryland. So I'm a diehard Patriots fan. But you are just by blood, even if you don't know
I
it.
am. No, I am.
So it's in you.
And my dad like loved sports, but he was also that kind of guy. He's like, whoever, like he liked so many like he's from the New York area, so he was like a Giants fan.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then he's like also like loves the Patriots. He kind of like, it was not like you're a Patriots fan. So I just like I don't care about sports, and I didn't get that like force fed thing. So
well, that's
just
probably good because then you got to focus on music.
Yeah,
and
for
everything
sure.
else that
No,
you
I
wanted
mean,
to do.
he was a baseball guy. He loved baseball. So I played baseball as a kid, but I just like I didn't have coordination. You know, like I really just didn't have coordination, and I didn't. He would be like, "Do this." I'm like, "No, Dad. Like I know how to do it." You know, like I was just kind of like that kind of kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to do it.
Well, not going crazy for New England sports probably freed up a couple thousand hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Of your time
to
work on stuff. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then did college out there?
Yeah, I went to Hofstra for a semester on Long Island, and then I was gonna go for film. Actually, I was like at the end of high school, I was like really trying to do film.
Yeah.
And then it was just like expensive, and I just was like, I'm just gonna go like to a cheaper school in New Hampshire, and was like gonna do business management. I was like, whatever I'm gonna do it on my own. So business management. So I learned how to manage business, and then I like took one semester that I was like, fuck this shit, dude. It was like accounting and like,
oh my god.
And so I was like, all right, I'll get back into music. Like, dude, that's my thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then so you dropped out.
No, I did.
You stayed with
I got a music degree.
Oh, music degree. That's right.
Classical
you transferred
music.
to it. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's
I played
pretty
like
wild.
classical percussion instruments like snare drum and cymbals and fucking timpani and marimba and like all that shit. Yeah.
Wow, that's super cool, dude.
Yeah.
So then you take that and you put it into
production
where it fits, I guess.
Yeah, it was. I was just producing at the same time as like going to school.
That's
I don't know.
Cool.
It was, in my generation or our generation is like you have to go to school kind of vibe,
Yep.
So I was just like doing it, but also it gave me the free time to like work on music.
Yeah.
Like I would never say I shouldn't have gone to school because like I don't think I would probably be like working a job instead of having the time to.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. My mom was super strict on school. She's a teacher. So there was never an option to not go to college and get a college degree. Even if I had brought it up, it would have been shot down right away. And it's all good because I loved my college experience.
Yeah.
But I did UC Santa Cruz for 2 years, and then transferred to Santa Barbara. And Santa Barbara was a bigger like D1 school. So I got into the newspaper. I got into some journalism stuff and some creative writing and. The film program there, I've majored in film and media, but it was film and media studies. So we were like writing papers about German propaganda movies from the 1930s. So it was like a nightmare. And I realized at the beginning of my senior year how I truly was not using any of that. And I started slacking and my grades dropped. Yeah. But I saw my grades dropping and I was like, I don't care. This doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They were dropping because I was writing for the newspaper. I was doing the radio show locally. I was doing like student film projects and just like not showing up to class.
Yeah.
So yeah, for our generation, going into the next generation, I think my sister's generation, because she's 21 now, they realize, school is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
For some things.
Like if you're writing papers about movies and that's your degree.
You don't need to write propaganda papers about movies unless you truly want to be a teacher and teach people to do that exact thing.
Yeah.
Great.
Or like be the one of like 5 people who do that somehow professionally other than teaching.
Yeah, you like write a book
really
about
have
it.
To fucking care about it. Yeah.
Very niche.
Yeah.
But if you can figure out a way to do it, more power to you.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, the next generation, I mean, is also the fact that the next generation sees careers being made on TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah.
So a majority of them are like, I don't need school at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like gamer, TikTok influencer, or rapper.
Vlogger.
Vlogger. Yeah. Like those are the.
That's it.
Those
People
are the
see
new...
Mr. Beast and just be like, I just need to do it.
I see Mr. Beast and I'm like, what the? Why?
Bro, Mr. Beast is crazy.
Like, why am I see it? I'm like, all I have to do is work like 24 hours a day, dude. That's it. Like, why don't I do that?
How do I make a swimming pool full of $10 million?
Bro, like, it just
and
takes,
just have people jump into it.
Just takes 10 years of nonstop work, and then you can do it.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
It is kind of interesting though. Like, I'm into the whole manifestation. Not too like into the science. Like, if you just like think of something and do it constantly, it's gonna work out. Like, if you are doing it, and
the visualization is very real.
Yeah,
it's absolutely real.
Yeah, so it's just like when I start to think about that, it's like, shit, man, I really just have to hone in on it. I need to do like a board with some Post-it notes on it to remind myself what I need to edit and shoot and like
exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Did you when you were coming up? Did you have any type of like spiritual influence like that, or did you ever seek out kind of those visualization methods or anything?
I mean, I grew up Catholic, like really Catholic, went to Catholic school, and then like really detested religion because of that. And then, I had like a spiritual awakening kind of in a few years ago, 4 years ago or so. I was like meditating every day, reading every book, and I was doing audiobooks I had a little practice I would do, and
cool.
like go on a hike and like listen to an hour or two of an audiobook and meditate while I was out there. And so, for like a few years, I was just like, I get it, like I was learning about like Buddhism and like, but also more just like that kind of Eckhart Tolle, like, Power of Now, and like Joe Dispenza, like very much about like what you think is what you are. Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So that's how I live for sure now. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I've had a lot of friends say similar things about Catholicism, or like they're raised Catholic and then immediately separate. What was it for you that made you want to step out into
Catholicism is just like all about like guilt, and like it's all very like literal interpretations of spiritual texts. So it's just like when you grow up like that, it's just like if you sin, God sees you and you're in trouble, and that's how I grew up. Like as a kid, it was very like I like ADHD from the age of like 2, like so I was just a troublemaker. I was like always like off And so anything I did was like wrong as a kid, you know, in like elementary school. So like a lot of anxiety because of that. Like I was like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on as a kid. So kind of as I started to grow up and just like, why would I want to be a part of that, you know? But, you know, even now, like I'm reading books about like, I like to read about how those ancient texts are like how you're supposed to interpret them. Because like symbolism back then, everyone kind of understood everything was very symbolic, you know, and now like we don't live in an age of symbolism anymore. We take everything literally. So it's like, if you read the Bible now, it's just like, don't do this thing, but that meant something else, you know?
Right.
So I like to like learn about that now, kind of like tap back into it. Because I spent so long learning about it, might as well kind of like, you know, take some things out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Useful.
I have actually not read the Bible in its entirety. It's something
me neither.
Okay, you haven't either?
No.
Okay,
I mean,
right.
I've
but you've
taken a
sections,
lot of
sections. I mean, my mom was raised Catholic. They're all Italian Catholic, but she didn't raise us with religion. She would pay me $10 to read about other religions. I remember when I was in like junior high, she's like, "Please just read this short book about Buddhism. I'll give you $10."
Awesome. That's awesome.
She was also a total hippie. She brought me to like Grateful Dead shows when I was a baby. So
cool.
But yeah, I have been on kind of a similar path over the past couple of years of just trying to expand knowledge and like the belief system that I operate with. Because you really can take a lot from different places and integrate them into your own kind of operating system in a pretty powerful way.
Absolutely.
Eckhart Tolle, obviously the man. And then also just like medicines, like plant medicines. I'm a massive advocate for, and I'm like really trying to be more active in that space. But yeah, mushrooms have been kind of a big influence for me, at least as far as like microdosing goes over the past couple of years.
When I was doing that meditation thing, I was microdosing almost every day.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while, not on purpose. It just like, I don't know, kind of forgot and then like don't get them anymore. But microdosing was such a huge thing for me.
Yeah, it's awesome. And especially if you do it at the right protocol. For mine, it's like a month or two on and then a month off. And it's only a couple days a week. And then you take that long stretch. Sometimes it's a couple months off. I'll go like 2 or 3 months off. And it's never addictive, which is great. And those couple months off really I feel like they allow my brain to just form these new pathways of connection and thought processing. And especially for creativity and people that are in the creative world. It's a huge help.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm stoked to see that stuff get more and more like mainstream and less stigmatized. You know?
It's crazy to think how it's like at the level of weed now, you know? Pretty much.
And weed was an essential business, dude. How crazy is that? Weed was an essential business. And there were still people like in jail for weed.
That's also true.
Wild.
That's crazy,
But yeah, mushrooms being the next thing. And then, you know, there's somebody, do you know who Aubrey Marcus is? So I love him. He's the man. And he's getting a lot more into like mysticism lately, which is pretty wild, but it's really cool to hear about.
Dude,
I'm super into
I'm into like, I was studying this thing called Builders of the Adytum for a while. I need to get back into it, but it's based on like, you know, like ancient Egyptian, like kind of like symbolism, kind of like they have their own tarot system. It's not for like fortune telling. It's just kind of for like insight. And so I'm like, have you read anything about like the collective unconscious, like Carl Jung stuff at all?
Slightly.
So it's just like we've developed so long. The human culture has developed like for so much longer than we can fathom, and symbols are just kind of implanted into our unconscious from like, you know, like how a bird knows to fly or sing or whatever. Like that same thing. Like we have this unconscious like understanding of symbols from especially ancient symbols, just like star, snake, like heart, like those kinds of symbols. You know? So it's kind of about implanting those symbols into your subconscious, or like, you know, like, or no, implanting them into your conscious mind. So then you have like a bridge between your unconscious and your subconscious and conscious mind. So it's like learning that this symbol means this thing. So then your unconscious, subconscious self can be like, hey, like, because your unconscious speaks in symbols. Like a dream isn't like, okay, you went to the store and then you got your dreams are like fucking
crazy.
So that's how it speaks, you know? So if you learn that language in your conscious self, you can like kind of start to decipher and really get more in tune with like the spiritual bridge, like,
yeah.
Carl Jung is like,
Carl Jung's
my shit.
That's the shit. Yeah.
Shit.
There's so much that I feel like our brain can do and our consciousness can do that we don't know about, don't speak about, and are never taught about.
Dude, yeah.
Like the simple power of visualization, meditation, and manifestation. If we were taught that as kids,
dude, yeah,
we would be living completely different lives.
Yeah.
And there's a whole history of why that doesn't happen, and let's keep things the way they are because of the job for the economy, all the bullshit reasons that have been programmed into our brains in this like modernized age of industry. But the Aubrey had a podcast with this guy Zach Bush. Do you know who that is?
I don't know.
He's a doctor, but he integrates a lot of, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna describe this wrong, but I'll try. Kind of a lot of like mysticism within the logical kind of holistic wellness space.
Cool.
And like he's a very, very good doctor, classically trained doctor, has worked in hospitals for decades. And now he runs his own operation where he brings a lot of insight from the spiritual side of things into his practice.
Cool. Yeah.
And they were having this conversation about very similar to what you just said a minute ago about how, modern day religions take things very literally, and really society takes a lot very literally.
Yeah.
And that literalism to them, the way that Zach and Aubrey were talking about it, is very like left brain dominant. Your left brain is more like your male brain. That's your logical space where you're connecting the dots and you're finding the problem and isolating it and figuring out how to solve the problem. And it's this step, then this step, then this step. And that has kind of taken over modern day society in a bad way.
Yeah.
In a bad way, because it has it's halted a lot of creativity. It's halted the stretching of the right brain being your female brain, your creativity, your intuition. You're instead of following something logically step by step, it's more trusting the process and going with the flow and figuring it out as you go.
Yeah.
And we need the shift to happen. And
Absolutely.
they feel like the shift is currently happening. I kind of see the shift kind of happening, and it's through just talking to people like you who say like, I've microdosed. I've meditated.
Yeah.
And look at us. We're born in 1990. Like we are a pretty young generation right now.
Yeah.
So if we are doing more and more of that, and I got friends from high school, these like bros that grew up in a small farm town up in Davis that are also talking to me about like, yo, have you ever tried like breath work? And I'm like, dude, welcome to the world, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this.
Dude,
like my boy Kyle was reading a book, like a self-help book of some sort. About how to consciously communicate with your partner. And I was like, oh my God. And I know I just doxed him by saying his name, but I fucking love him.
Yeah.
But I see stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh, that's the transition in action.
That is all the feminine.
Yeah.
Like, it's about caring and loving.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing you didn't mention when you were saying like the creativity, intuition, but also care and love.
Yes,
exactly.
Like,
the motherly,
Yeah.
Because this is the patriarchy. I think I want to like talk about this off mic because I don't want to like hear any criticism about this opinion. So this is my opinion.
Sure.
The feminist movement is pushing to include women into the patriarchy like a lot of the time, women are oppressed and deserve like rights and equality. Like I 100% agree, but like I think some of the feminist movement is like confused that like, no, we belong in the patriarchy too. It's like, how about we dismantle the patriarchy, and the patriarchy meaning like this male left brain driven society.
Yeah, not necessarily like a man in power at every company.
No, it's like women are taking part in the patriarchy as well by like being a man, like not like manly, but like wanting to be the CEO of a company. Like anyone who wants to be the CEO of a company is driven by the patriarchy, right? Like, not that it's a bad thing or a good thing. I think we need those people, because then if it's only woman feminine sided brain, then we're going to be in the opposite direction.
Side, right.
Then we're like hippies and like on a commune
nothing's
and like
getting done.
And then people end up like being like weird sex guys who
Right,
and then you
right.
end up killing everybody. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
The
And
balance.
Some Jim Jones shit.
It's the balance
Yeah.
that's needed. And we don't have such a small amount of feminine influence, feminine being like that side of nature. And
because that side, it's been like suppressed. It's been suppressed.
I mean, even at the nuclear level, like there's electrons in the oh my god, the neutron? No,
proton?
What's the middle called? The atom. Like a neutron and a proton. What is that called?
A neutron and a proton
together. What's the middle of the atom called? This is
electron,
great. Fuck me. Anyways,
a quark.
You have you just have you have atoms.
Yeah.
Which create our whole thing. They're in balance. You know, one is being drawn to the other. One is the magnet, and one is the thing that stays in balance of that magnet.
Yeah.
That's like the balance of feminine and masculine. It's not about penis or vagina. It's like literally like a power. Like it's a description of forces in nature. Yeah. You know, and I think it's hard for people to understand that and like kind of remove this like oppressive history of male and female. Right. You know, so yeah.
Well, and a lot of people just get stuck immediately when you say male and female.
Yeah.
Then they immediately associate
masculine
with gender,
and feminine. Exactly. Yeah.
And it's we can use those words not talking about gender or sex. We're talking about an energy, a literal energy. Yeah. In that podcast, that they also talked about like water, and they made a great comparison with water and how fucked up like our water system is, and our crops are like dying, and we're entering this phase where it's gonna be like the beginning of Interstellar, where there's that blight everywhere, that like fungus dirt just wiping shit out. Because our water system, this is the best example I've heard for male versus female energy. Our water system is taking water, forcing it through these piping systems that are going at sharp angles, left and right, 90-degree angles, up and down, forcing it this way and that way, just to force it out of our faucets. So by the time the water has come out of the faucet, the molecular structure is all rearranged because of this male, masculine energy that we've been shoving it through this piping system, right? And it removes the electrolytes, it fucks up the balance of the water. It doesn't make it bad for you, but it just makes it less nutrient dense than it would be if you were to get it in nature from a feminine source, because water in nature is naturally moving.
Creative source.
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's flowing over rocks. It's going left and right. It's going downhill. Absolutely. It's free falling. It's not being forced left and right. It's flowing on a curvature.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And that allows the water to pick up the electrolytes from the rocks, potassium, magnesium, whatever, and carry it into a freshwater kind of spring. That I as soon as I heard that a couple months ago, I went 100% bougie with my water. Yeah, and I bought this whole fucking water tower out there. But it's real.
Bougie water thing is happening. It's like weirdly like topical right now.
Yeah,
I also just started drinking only spring water.
Yeah,
for like the first time in my life.
Yep,
it's so weird.
No more purified water.
I wonder if that's like a psyops thing. Like we think we're being cool and spiritual or like smarter, but it's actually just like the big water it's big water probably. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I hope
owned
not.
by Chevron somehow.
I mean, it is interesting. I was in the San Jose airport this weekend and I was like, there's only Dasani. Like all of the Hudson News only had. And I was like, I'm not drinking this. I like walked through the whole airport.
Refuse.
Dude, yeah.
100%.
Like, it's so new for me to like care, but I do care a lot now.
That's part of the shift still.
Yeah.
See? Like, and it's people like that. It's us having a conversation. It's a person watching this and then telling their friend. Yeah. I think that really is going to be part of the shift, so that by the time we have kids or grandkids, it maybe it's going to take 2 more generations for people to really flip a little bit more. Yeah. And it doesn't mean the whole country has to turn into a commune, but it does mean that we should be talking about these things more, right, and not ignoring, because all these little things that we're discussing, these little like, okay, how do we make a decision? Can we be more creative? Should we meditate? What is breath work? Can I read a book about how to consciously communicate with my partner? Should I be bougie about my water? They're all laying the foundation for like a new just type of culture, at least in this country for sure, but worldwide, beyond.
I mean, even just like the redirecting of water to like a place like Los Angeles is like the patriarchy, you know, because it's like we need to be here because so many people need to like work in this one building that does this one thing because we need to like get more money.
Yeah.
Like the destruction of our water system beyond just like pushing it through pipes that make it shittier. Just like the fact that we all have to live here and we need more water here.
Yeah.
Like that is a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Like let's expand life in this desert area
Yeah.
so that more people can drive downtown
Yeah.
to go work at the fucking US bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or the crypto arena, which is great. The crypto arena casts a shadow on like a literal shadow on a Skid Row, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's why like that. And that you talk about the patriarchy, dude, and it's like the just the male energy dominated society that we live in just kind of needs to change a little bit.
mean,
and people hear that and they're like, oh, you're scared. Like men can be men too. It's not, we're not talking about men. Dude.
Yeah.
It's the whole energy of society.
That distraction of the word just like ruins it, unfortunately. But like, it's not our fault. It's the person who doesn't know the difference, unfortunately. And they'll just like, it's sad that like conversations can't be had around that kind of stuff for some people, because it's just like this instant trigger, and like that's such a like trigger is a triggering word. If you said someone is triggered, it's like, oh, you're triggered. You know, it's like no, like no, you're triggered. I'm not triggered. It's just like no, it's like if that word does that thing to you, like you know, like let's just have a conversation about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough both ways. I mean, the populist kind of like society we live in now. Actually, I literally am listening to this new book on the way over here called Recapture the Rapture. Ooh. Super interesting because it talks about how the first like meaning of life was like religion. It was like you follow the rules of the religion, then you like go to heaven. And like that was meaning 1.0 as he calls it. I can't remember the author's name, but Recapture the Rapture is the book. Mm-hmm. And now we're in meaning 2.0, which is like that kind of like the rapture for them was like Jesus is coming, he's gonna burn everyone unless you believe in Jesus. Mm-hmm. Now our rapture is like we're going down, like the economy's fucked, the environment's fucked, so like you have to be stockpiling guns and food or whatever to be on this side of stuff. And then the other side is like, no, you have to be like loving and like to be on this side of stuff. Right. And so it's like we're reenacting. It's like learn from history. Mm-hmm. We're reenacting the old rapture play, you know, because the rapture never fucking came then.
Right.
Arguably, it's hard for me living in this new rapture to say the rapture's not going to come because like we're talking about like water being like whatever. So it's interesting. I listened to him on a podcast, so I know the synopsis is that like we need to mix the like finding meaning for people in a religious way without like religion, but also in like a physical way. I'm excited to finish this book and I really recommend it because it's something I've never wrapped my head around is this like Rapture 2.0 thing that we're living in now. Mm-hmm. We're just recreating this old like religious trauma kind of
that's
situation.
So crazy.
Recapture the rapture.
Recapture the rapture. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna order it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's the history repeating itself thing is so sad. And
people don't pay attention.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, and I feel like I'm pretty well, you know, trying to stay on top of things.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people want to kind of. I feel like a lot of people find a lot of meaning, personal meaning, in times like this because. And it's unfortunate in like a bad way. So some people I feel like over the past couple years especially have found a lot of purpose and meaning in trying to elevate their own status to be above others, and like look down at others and talk down to others, whether it's because of whatever the trending issue is, dude, for politics, COVID, social justice, whatever it is. Yeah. And that's just it's widening a divide. Mm-hmm. And it's making those two sides that you just said, it's strengthening both of those sides. Right. Because people on both of those sides will try to elevate their own status up. And we've created, I feel like we've created a culture where if you elevate your own status, you get immediate gratification because now a bunch of people are looking at you like, oh, he's right. Listen to him speak out about them with all that crazy passion and fire in his eyes. Yeah. You know, like that's the guy we got to listen to. Yeah. And we haven't put this, in just my opinion, I don't think we've put enough value on people who are actively trying to find ways to create a dialogue, bridge a gap, and blend that left and right brain style energy together to create a more like unified way of living.
Yeah.
It's just like, how do I get to the top? How do I talk down to those people so that I can get all these people to like me more? And you see, but people are popping on Twitter. People are going on Tucker Carlson with all this. People are going on fucking CNN talking about whatever. And it's just every time I see it, I'm like, fuck, man. You guys have such a great opportunity here to not do that. And it's not going to get you as much clout.
I mean, or money.
But man, the fulfillment has got to be better. If you could make people less angry at each other and speak with more conscious reasoning rather than just like this immediate kind of default setting to speak in a way that generalizes or attacks or whatever. So.
Yeah, it's like it starts with like meditation and that kind of shit because those people do it because they get that dopamine hit or like that kind of like acceptance or whatever. Like they're like, this is right, you know, and I'm getting paid, especially the social media machine. We've all seen The Social Dilemma. I hope if you haven't, you should watch it.
Incredible.
It's like they've made the system they are splitting. The algorithm is doing this because it like works for what social media makes money on. Yeah. It's like that's the broken thing. Like for the most part, it's like people will now say something so controversial on purpose that they probably don't even actually believe in on Twitter just to like, because some people will be like, yeah, dude, you know, like, and on both sides, for sure. It's not just a conservative thing, even though that's kind of what we like point at. It is a liberal thing too, because like, people, like, what are you saying?
Oh my God, 100%.
I mean, I don't know like who the listener base on this is. So
they're all far right QAnon people.
Yeah, okay, so never mind. It's all the liberals.
I feel like we got a good mix.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like either way is like it's just polarizing because that's profitable.
Yes. And polarizing for profit.
Yeah, it's like
100%.
when you do start to meditate and do start to learn, like literally just learn about your brain and this like balance and spirituality, not as like woo woo, as literal like medicine or like, you know, like this guy is like the internal turmoil we feel from like waking up and getting on our phone. Just like if I don't use my phone first thing in the morning, if I don't use it for like 10 minutes after waking up, I have a better day.
Yo,
you know,
incredible.
And that's so fucking hard. This morning I didn't do it. And it's like, why is that so hard? You know?
Yeah, it's super hard.
And so it's just the more we don't do those things, the better we become.
What other small practices do you implement either daily or weekly to kind of help with your creative and your mental focus and strength?
Man, honestly, I'm at the point where I need to like really reinstate a lot of them because it's so hard. It's like so much easier to get in the habit of not doing them than doing them, you know?
Yep.
But meditation was like such an important thing for me, a huge thing, and I need to do that daily, and it's such a hard habit to reinstate. It's weird. Weird. You can spend an hour on your phone easily, but you can't spend 5 minutes in silence. It's so weird. I would say that, you know, for sure, trying to be mindful of the phone usage because that gets me bad.
That's huge.
That gets me bad.
Same. And you know, the what I've said to myself, I've recently learned has just been an excuse this whole time. I used to call my phone my office. Which is true in a way. Like, I should be going on TikTok a couple times to see what's trending. I should be going on Twitter to see what's in the news cycle. I do need to go on Instagram to see if this video did well so I could think of a sequel maybe, or see if whatever the fuck on YouTube views or comments are telling me that I should be doing that. But I feel like recently I've taken that thought of my phone being my office and I've been using it as an excuse to just scroll for another 30 minutes.
Absolutely.
So that's something I got to be
I've been trying to say like I need to like produce more than I consume on social media, you know, like it's not your office, it's your stage, you know?
Totally.
And then if you're like using it as to be an audience member for other people's stages more than you're using it to be the stage, then it's like, like what are you?
That's a great way of thinking about
it. I'm just, this is words. It's not something I actually fucking am good at practicing. So I don't, you know, but that is something I try to like remember because that's what we're trying to do. But then it's like, it's crazy because it really does reward you for being on there more. Like in this past year or two, I've definitely had like a lot of things I've had to work through. And part of that was just getting off social media because the validation was really getting to me, like mentally, like depression and highs from validation. Like if there's not enough of it, I'm depressed. And so I took time off of social media, and then I feel better. This is better, but my career isn't doing as well, you know?
Sure.
And so then I have moments where I get really into it. I'm using TikTok a lot, doing reels. Like, damn, dude, I got like 500 followers in a day or 1,000 followers. You know, it's like, this is better, you know? And so that's such a hard balance.
It's so crazy.
They don't give you the option to like really use it from the back end either. You know, like what you're saying is using it for research. Imagine if like there was like, I know they have like Facebook Creator, but like maybe I should try to use that more. I don't know, but it would be great to have like a back end into social media kind of without the feed, but like still have like the to make it a business enough, you know, like, because it's tough. They definitely don't want us to be doing that. They want us to be using it.
They want us to be on it nonstop and to not go.
And when I am on it nonstop, my shit gets better. You know, like my career gets better. Yeah. So
it's why I don't even know. I don't think anybody has the answer to it. I think I think everybody that's like a digital creator like us has some type of experience like that. Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm going through a crazy period right now where I'm all mentally fucked up because I haven't been growing. Like my numbers have been stagnant for months, and I've been putting out tons of stuff, and I feel like the stuff I put out is good, but I don't know, maybe it sucks. Maybe that's why it's not. And then I start thinking that way. Yeah. And then I got to catch myself and be like, no, you're good. Yeah. Just keep doing it. There's no other answer besides keep doing it. Yeah. So I told my mom this, and she was like, well, what are you going to do? Stop? Yeah. She's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Not make comedy videos anymore? You're just not going to do that? And I was like, no.
I think what's important is to like really come back to why we started this. Yeah. And also like really honor our like younger selves, like our inner child. Like, one of my therapists, I can't remember who, but they're like, put a picture of your like childhood self on your desk and just like look, like remember, like I'm doing what this child like dreamed of doing, even if this post doesn't do well, like, or whatever, you know, like, dude. And also like, what did he really want to do? He wanted to make music or like whatever. He wanted to make comedy. Like, really remember what, like, why. Like, the why is important, like, not to be cliche, but it's like,
it's huge, man.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, well, I want to make music, but also making music right now doesn't like help me be a musician. Like making TikToks helps me, right? Like making TikToks helps me more than any song I've ever released. Wow. Put together. Wow. Like literally.
That's crazy.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing. I'm not Skrillex, you know, like there's Skrillex and then there's everyone else. There's Beethoven, and then there's guys who are probably almost as good or as popular as Beethoven that we don't even know. Right. Because they just didn't, you know, but I have TikTok and like I have these different, like I can talk in front of a camera more than other people can. And like I'm comfortable to do these things, and I'm trying to use these resources, right? So it's like totally. It's a weird balance. Like I want to do music and like I want to also just do it. Like the personality, I want to be, you know, the thing. Yeah, totally. Dude, the childhood thing is huge. I think of my 10-year-old self all the time. You see that right there? The rocks glued to a piece of paper? You go. I made that when I was 5 years old. Dude, awesome. In kindergarten. And I found it in my mom's garage and I framed it, and it used to be up on the wall, but now it's just over here on the desk. And perfect. I look at that all the time. And I'm like, oh shit, I've come a long way. Dude, I mean, gluing but rocks also, like, on a piece of paper. You could sell that probably if it was the right artist, right? It's pretty cool. Yeah, you know? Exactly. Yeah. But one day that'll pay for a house. But I mean, you made that in a time where you didn't care about the likes or the views, and like it's cool or whatever. And I loved it. Yeah, and now it's like inspiring. I brought it home. I was proud of it. Yeah, so, you know, dude, it's such a weird balance of I don't know. And then just the happiness like thing too is like success it makes you happy like in the moment, but like it's not going to bring happiness. Right. So just remembering to be happy. You asked me like what are the things I'm trying to practice. So like just like happiness and like joy in life other than work, because I'm a workaholic. I'm a validation addict. I'm Same. Like if we do this, we probably are. Yeah. Because the reason we're comedians and musicians is because, well, most of us is like we wanted more people to like us. Yeah. And so we were funny or could do a cool thing. Yeah. And like, oh, more people like me. Cool. I'll keep doing that thing. I'll just keep being funny and make people laugh. And then now we're here, we're 30 something, like wait, like okay, but also like I like to skateboard, or I like to play video games, or I like to paint. Yeah. So it's like that's what. Like, I was just surviving. I was just trying to survive in the community because I'm fucking weird. My brain works different. But I could be like, look at this thing. And people are like, yay. So it's like, all right, like now I got to remember, like, make me happy.
Totally.
Because that's so fleeting, you know?
Totally.
Which is crazy because I'm like, what do I fucking like?
Yeah.
Like, especially, you know, I think the phone ruined a lot of things I like. Because I used to really like I liked video games and like slow video games. I would like RPG kind of like long stories, bro. I can't sit down and do that anymore. Like the phone like zapped me, bro.
That's crazy.
You know,
I didn't watch NBA basketball this season the way I used to. This was the first season I like rarely watched the game. And thinking about it now, yeah, it was because I was super busy. I was on the road. I was shooting way more than I've ever shot. But also I think I would... You know, I wake up at 8 every day and I work in here until like 9. And on days where there were games on, I would rather almost like look at YouTube videos and watch, you know, like just completely shut my brain off, or watch TikTok stuff on my phone. So yeah, I totally feel that.
Yeah,
it just
it's
took away energy from one thing. And
So that's been interesting, trying to find like remember what I enjoy and just what brings me joy, like without any outside influence in any way. That's like it's crazy that that's like a journey for me, but it's a journey that I'm on right now.
Yeah,
that is like even connecting with people. Like it's so cool to be in person with you, and I'm thinking like, dude, like we vibe so like let's hang out more. I think that right
100%.
now. I mean, just let's hope. Let's like make a like pact at the end of this. Let's hang out more because we vibe.
But then it's within the next 6 months.
Right, but
let's not let 6
right. But then
months
it's
pass.
like you say that every time you see someone, and then you like don't fucking see them again. It's like that's so important to just have that. To put your phone away and fucking, because like we like each other's videos on Instagram all the time, right? So like, oh, we're connecting. Like, oh, Brent's my homie. Like, we like each other's fucking stories.
Yeah.
No, dude,
see him in a year and a half.
Yeah, it's like, dude, that's broken, and I'm not better than anyone else, but it's broken. We're all doing it, so it's like.
Well, you should bring your girl out here. We'll do pasta night. I do pasta nights on Sundays.
Down.
That's a real thing too. I really
every
do.
Sunday. Oh,
every Sunday I'm in town.
Cool.
I try to. Yeah.
So I've been trying to instate a weekly thing too.
Yeah, it's important, dude. It's important. That's one thing I do for my mental health is I cook a huge thing on Sundays.
Sick.
And most of the time it's just me and my girlfriend. Sometimes I'll invite some people over whenever I can.
Dope.
Stottles came over before.
Dope.
So we'll do it. We'll do it for sure.
So
and that's a real thing. Because I have to do that for my own sake.
I actually have a Philips. Have you seen the automatic pasta makers?
Is that
like,
automatic?
You put flour and there's like egg and water, and
it does it for you.
Fucking spins it.
Is that legal?
And extrudes it. It's not legal.
Wow,
dude, it's so
my grandma
sick.
would be so mad.
It's so sick. It extrudes every shape of pasta. You just like spaghetti, ziti, like.
But you don't. So
nothing.
I hand do all my thing.
You literally put a fucking cup of flour in, and then you pour the liquid in. And
crazy.
It comes out.
You own this? You've done this?
I do it. I do it less often.
And it's good pasta?
So good pasta.
Really?
Such good fresh pasta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll bring it over. Like we'll do like half and half.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah,
because you should try it. It's really fucking good. It's really good.
Yeah, I'll go by hand.
Yeah. What kind are you making? Like
I've made a lot.
Flat noodles.
Flat noodle. My favorite is pappardelle or tagliatelle, which are flat and wide or flat and not as wide. I've done spaghetti. My machine can crank out spaghetti really well. Raviolis great.
Yeah.
I'll do this ravioli I do for Christmas. It's got it's ricotta cheese, sugar, lemon juice, and orange zest.
Yeah, I love that
on the
shit.
inside
I love
with
that
Parmesan
shit.
cheese.
Hell yeah!
So it's like sweet and salty
love
and
that.
sour and
yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
I love cooking. I'm a big fan of cooking.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's meditative for me.
Yeah, it is.
That's part of my whole mental health thing. Is I gotta cook at least a couple meals a week. For sure.
Yeah. There's this. Oh, God, I can't. My brain's like not picking up the words today for some reason. Happiness is the Thich Nhat Hanh. He's like a Vietnamese Buddhist guy. It's something about like just like everything is meditation. I can't remember.
Yeah, somebody said everything is yoga.
Yeah.
It might have been him. It might have been this other guy.
I'm sure a lot of people say that, frankly, but that's something else I try to remember. Is like I was making like aguachiles last night.
Cool.
And I was like peeling the shrimp. And I was like, fuck, goddamn, like why? Getting the like vein out. And I was like, oh wait, like this is this is it.
This
Like
is it.
this is the meditation.
100%.
Like if I'm not sitting out and being quiet, I might as
Yeah.
well like just be like, yes, like shrimp.
100%, dude.
Like, yeah.
So I do, when I wake up, first thing I do is chug a big glass of water.
Mhm.
Then I take a cold shower every day, every
Nice.
morning. Then I do like 10 or 15 minutes of stretching and yoga.
Mm.
And after I do that, I let myself look at my phone.
That's-
Most
yeah.
90%
God,
of the
I know
time.
that's so.
It's hard sometimes.
But that's like 90% of
Yeah.
like a good day, right?
Yeah,
there.
you
It's
start
like
it just like that.
minutes.
Like,
and
look at how happy I am right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I would not be happy
Yeah,
if I
no,
hadn't done that.
for sure.
So I'd been doing that for years. That
Nice.
whole sequence.
Nice.
And I asked my buddy, my friend is pretty deep in the spiritual community. He's a DJ, a quantumist, but he's like he does a lot of like conscious bass music.
Oh,
Is
cool.
what he calls it.
Yeah.
And he does these transformational festivals
Dope.
that are all called like unison
Yeah,
aligned or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite type of festivals. But
Yeah.
I asked him a couple years ago. I was like, do you do yoga? I've been doing yoga every day. Do you do yoga? And he was like, yeah, I do yoga. And I was like, oh, nice. Well, like 15 minutes? And he's like, no, that's not my yoga. And I was like, what? What do you mean? You do yoga, but you don't do yoga? I thought yoga was only the stretching.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I make my smoothie with like 37 ingredients every day. And
Yeah.
that's my yoga. And I was like, oh, okay. Yoga is really the presence of mind that you have during a specific repetitive task that can kind of bring you a sense of peace.
Yeah.
Typically it's stretching
Mhm.
and these poses, but it
As
can be
we know
anything.
it in the Western world.
Right, exactly.
Because like a
exactly.
yogi isn't someone who stretches.
No.
It's a person who practices this
a-
way of life.
A ton of these poses aren't even
Yeah.
in the yogi's
Yeah.
handbook.
Yeah, and then like
overseas.
yoga nidra is like wakeful rest. Like there's a yoga nidra is like body scanning.
Yeah.
Like a body scanning meditation. That's like been something I've been doing a lot more often. I actually got Reiki healing for the first
Nice.
time last
Did you like
week.
it?
Dude, it was really interesting.
trip.
Very interesting.
trip.
I think I need to go back. I think
Yeah.
I think I like put some vinegar in like a dirty pan and got some of it off. But like, I think I need to do a few more.
That's the type of thing where, a lot of people will do it once and just be like, oh, I did it once. Yeah, I've done that. But it's really like it should be a consistent part of your lifestyle.
Well, the first takeaway I got was like, damn, I just sat in meditation for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So like worst case, that is such a good takeaway.
Huge.
Yeah, like
huge.
that
Yeah.
alone is like a guided meditation because like they're touching you. So you're kind of like mindful of this part of your body, maybe not, kind of in and out of this delta dream state, the delta wave state.
Yeah.
That's another thing is like that's this creative state. Like babies spend their time in delta state like, when they're growing their brain from like this big to this big, so that's the creative state where you're like tapped into your unconscious. You start kind of having dreams, and like super important. So that was cool. And that's kind of what yoga nidra is like as well, as like you're kind of tapped into this slower wave length state.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rad. Have you ever gone to any of those transformational festivals?
I haven't, and it feels like part of my soul is calling for me to be more involved in music as like a healing medium like that. Yeah. And I've it's been tough because like the workaholism and this like kind of financial security blanket of what I do is like hard to just be like, I can devote some time to this. Yeah. But totally I need to like look more into it because I'm about that.
I'm curious because I'll see I see the music space in terms of like live events as two different fields that kind of have some overlap. One is the mainstream world. It's pretty much every Insomniac event I would call like a mainstream festival. And then there's like and Coachella is like mainstream. And then once you hit lightning in a bottle, you start going that way on the spectrum into Totality, into Stoke the World, Dirty Bird Campout kind of in a way, but also these Burning Man, all those types of like transformational festivals.
Right.
I'm curious if you see like, is there a bridge between those two worlds for a lot of artists, or do you think a lot of artists operate within one of those camps?
Yeah, I would say anyone who's playing Insomniac, and then even like Diplo who goes to Burning Man or whatever, like I would say people see those as like a bath and like not as like a lifestyle, like,
Got it.
Like,
yep.
yeah, like it's interesting. This is a thought experiment I have all the time. Like, what am I bettering the world by playing like a music festival as a DJ? It's like, well, yes, like first of all, people are getting away and like kind of becoming part of this like community where they like can experience like self-expression and you know, it's like more younger generation. There's some older people, but it's more younger generation. But I do question like, you know, but it's also kind of like the drugs of choice are like alcohol and ecstasy, and it's like
pressed pills.
So it's kind of like, but like that's kind of more like a mind numbing experience as opposed to like a mind opening experience. So, and that's the thing though, because like partying is okay. Like partying there should be a balance. You shouldn't only go to experience music, be like, I'm gonna go fucking heal right now. But I do struggle with that. So you asking me is actually something that I think about, because it's like I do live in this kind of lifestyle, and when I was first getting to meditation a lot, I was tweeting about fucking shit like that all the time, and even my management was like, yo dude, like, you know, like I was kind of tweeting like Eckhart Tolle or whatever, not really, but like wanting to, or like damn, this is great, like I'm learning this thing, I want to tell people about it. Not necessarily the best way to go about it, frankly. Not everyone wants to hear it, but also it was like this kind of like duality I was living, because it's like, and I still am, frankly, because it's like I do want to do what I do. I do like kind of this party thing. I think it's important, but also...
And there is a high energy positivity that comes from being on a racetrack with 10,000 people.
Absolutely.
High as balls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's something you should do every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Do just no inhibitions, whatever. But you can do that at like Burning Man or whatever. I've actually never been to Burning Man or anything like that. It's something I definitely want to and need to experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a question that touches me pretty deeply, because it is something that I do like think about and
that's
struggle
awesome
with.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was curious if you did, and I'm curious if other artists think that way too. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
My buddy Equanimous that I mentioned about before, he's huge in that scene, in the transformational conscious scene. He's huge.
Cool.
He has not, to my knowledge, performed at any mainstream like Insomniac style things. I think he'd be a fit. I mean, I think he bridges the gap pretty well. But also I see Aubrey Marcus is throwing this festival in Wyoming. It's going to be a small, intimate thing, maybe 1,000, 2,000 people, called Arcadia. Very much a transformational festival. And Dr. Fresh is on.
Oh, cool.
The
that's dope.
The billing. Yeah.
That's dope.
And I saw that and I was like, oh shit, that's like. I only met him like once, super briefly, through Stottle, but I was like, oh, that's an Insomniac cat. That dude is that. There it is. That's the bridging the divide. And then Ellis Dream is always popping back and forth between like Lightning in a Bottle and mainstream festivals. Yeah. So that's really cool that you think that way, because I could definitely see you.
I think I'm doing myself a disservice by not trying more and like reaching into it, and I think that's something, it's a block that I'm working to overcome just in general, like, you know, musically and in life. Like there's this block of like, I guess it's like the path of life that everyone follows, and like especially men. Like, have you read the book Iron John by any chance? You should check that out. It's just kind of like archetypical journey of life as a man is like, you know, it's like the hero path where you like, I can overcome anything, I'm on top of the world, like slaying dragons, and then the dragon like wins, and then you go into like ashes work where you're just like in the fucking, you're sweeping up the ashes of the chimney, like it's all very like medieval framed, because like that's where a lot of the symbolic stories, our current culture is like based in medieval culture, you know, like after like the spiritual kind of Jesus Egyptian culture, then it's like the medieval times, you know, so that's kind of like the basis of our Western society. So like, it's all very knighty, like King Arthur, all those stories, those are all kind of like the journey of men through life, you know, so I'm definitely at that point in that journey of men through life where you're like, I'm like, shit, man, like this is what I like and I love, but like maybe I could be happier, maybe I could do something, you know, like
take a little detour, should I try this new path a little bit?
It's definitely, that's a trip. It's hard.
That's cool, dude. You know, that community is that's my favorite people to be around. I love the Insomniac Festival. Super, super fun. But there's something about the ethos of an event like Lightning in a Bottle or one of these other ones that just It's just different. They're
Yeah.
both good in their own ways,
Yeah.
but it's a different experience. People are there, I think, with a little bit different intention. There's an intentionality to it.
Definitely.
So it's a blast. I can see you there.
Yeah. I could definitely. I mean, dude, I swear, I believe in myself more than a lot of people believe in themselves, and I really do feel like, not in like a corny way, just in a way that like I know my power as a manifester is like, I know I can tap into that. Like I don't have any question. And like when we were talking about Mr. Beast earlier, like I just need to do, like I know that like it is just a step. There's a process. It's like a stepwise process. It's like I just need to do this, like submerge myself in the culture, like, you know, start to understand how it works, start to understand how the music works. Like I know the steps, and like, or I can lay them out. So you know, I guess the question is more of like my non-spiritual, it's like wrangling my non-spiritual self in. It's like, hey, like, you know, start to like think about this more, you know, because I did grow up like, you know, I think a lot of us were growing up in this weird financial time for sure. And like, you know, my dad had his own businesses growing up, like he had his own business, and it was never fucking stable, or like money was tough. Money is a stressor. Money is my biggest stressor and motivator. 100%. So
I grew up with a single mom. She was a teacher, and I had a sister. She worked like 3 teaching jobs.
So it sucks. So it's like, I hate to make money my God, you know, and that's what Catholicism or Christianity, Jesus was talking about when he says like, have one God only, and it's God. And it doesn't have to be like God, like the man in the sky, but like God is like your own the fucking shit, the force inside of you. Energy, that's God, the universal energy, So like, that's why you shouldn't have the money being your God, because now you're like lost in the fucking desert, you know, like whatever, you know.
It's a false God.
Yeah. So that's where like my Catholicism or Christian teachings, like, it's not like, like modern Christians interpret that in such a weird way of like, you know, I don't know, charity or like whatever. No, sure, be charitable or like whatever, but it's about like truly like not letting anything else influence your like being, your happiness.
Totally.
Because social media is like our God, our main God now, dude.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like we were talking
it's our
about
dictator.
That.
It literally reprograms your brain to like different things. And
now everyone has ADHD, because like I grew up with like real bad ADHD, undiagnosed, dude. Like in the past 2 years, like I've been doing therapy just to like try to shed some of like what I was saying, where I was like always in trouble. Like I'm just been like shedding this like ADHD child like stuff that went on, because like my parents weren't really into like therapy and shit, and like, you know, so like I was just like, oh, he's just a little weird, you know. Like, so, you know, but now everybody has ADHD, because like we're just like,
we're getting it programmed by age 7.
Our brain chemical like stuff is just run by shit on the outside.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
So it's
dude.
like,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I wish they would put meditation and mindfulness into more schools.
I feel like I've seen it starting to.
Yeah, I actually met somebody at the music festival we went to a couple weeks ago. She said she is a wellness and mindfulness teacher at a junior high.
Oh, cool.
And it's required for all the kids to take this class.
Awesome, dude.
And I was like, oh, that's incredible. It was a private school, of course. But like, how amazing would that be if it was implemented in public schools? And the more private schools, maybe the more influence public schools will get. And, you know, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on there. But that would be pretty incredible. Let's see where we're at. What time was? Do you what do you have coming up? What are some big things you're looking forward to?
I have a record label, and we're starting our monthly party.
Group chat.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
We're starting a monthly party with Insomniac, actually.
No way.
Yeah, this Thursday is our first one, so it'll be every last Thursday of the month. Yeah, I'm stoked. Something I really care deeply about is just like pushing music forward, and like, I feel like it's very stagnant right now, and that's a whole other conversation. Social media, kind of like the Spotify world we live in now, is bad. Like music discovery isn't cool anymore. It used to be like, I want to show you this cool new music I found, but now it's more like, I want someone to find cool new music for me, and we kind of like rely on like Spotify to feed that to us or whatever. So I'm really passionate about that, and kind of that mad decent culture of like old like just cool music coming up.
So talk to me about group chat. How did that come about, and what's the purpose behind it?
It's basically what I'm saying. It's just kind of like, I've always championed like music from other countries or like whatever it is, whatever the case, just music that my sets, people like them because I do that, but they don't they see just it as like, oh, gestures like that. Maybe they think it's all my music or whatever, you know?
Right.
So like my goal was by starting is to like introduce these artists and this type of music to people, you know, as songs and not just like part of my set or whatever. And also there's just a vacuum right now of like that kind of music, just kind of forward thinking dance music, club music. Yeah. It's like a lot of it got like sequestered into like cool guy culture in LA where you have to be like really fancy dressed and like a cool person. And it's a very othering situation to like go to like a global bass night where it's like, we're the cool guys, like we're all dancing and being cool. And then there's like the insomniac culture where it's like we're dressed like fairies and we're just like running around being like, ah. Yeah. So like there is a missing kind of middle ground. Like Hard Summer and Mad Decent Block Party, and like if you look just like 6, 7, 8 years back, people are just wearing clothes going to festivals, like jeans and shirts. Yeah. You know? Totally. And like I think there's a vacuum where it's like that culture is cool to me. I like, you don't have to try too hard and you're just doing it to. Maybe that's gone forever, frankly. I don't know, but I'm really trying to lean back into like that vibe of just like cool new music. Be like, whoa, that's a cool new song. I want to play new songs, and people are going to be excited about it, not just like a song that sounds like John Summit or you know, like
totally.
It's very much like this one guy is famous now. Everyone copy what he does. You know? And it used to be like
that's been happening way more. Over the past 10 years.
It's because of the algorithm or whatever. You know, like it's just like there's 5 big playlists on Spotify for dance music. Right. And like if you want to make money putting out music, then you better fucking sound like one of those. You better fall into that like category. Fall into that category. Mm-hmm. If you don't, then you don't get playlisted. And you don't get played by these big DJs or whatever. Mm-hmm. It used to be the fucking opposite, man. It used to be like, this is the weirdest, coolest shit I've ever heard. I'm going to play it. Or, you know, like, and that was very recently, you know? Yeah. So that's what it's about for me. Like, that's what DJing's about for me too. And that's why I'm not like totally like, I'm doing the wrong thing. Cause I do feel passionate about that, you know? And like that feels good for me. So I'm excited to start the monthly party with Insomniac too as the thrower, whatever you call it, the promoter. Is
this a live in person party or a streamed Discord
live in person?
Live in person. Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Is it open? Do people buy tickets?
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What where can people
Group Chat Club is the handle on social media.
Cool.
Group Chat Club, so just check it out.
Cool.
We have fun cool music coming out and cool parties and playing a bunch of shows this summer, going on tour. Check out my handle, JSTJR, for all that stuff. And putting out cool music this summer, too, actually.
Sweet.
A bunch of songs,
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. What's your cadence like with putting out new stuff? Do you hold yourself to any type of schedule?
No, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I get really into, like, perfectionism and making sure the songs are perfect before I put it out. So I'm really trying to, like, undo that thing and just kind of get more music out there, because I tend to hold songs for like a year at least, and then I'm like, by the time I put it out, I'm over the songs. Like it's just kind of like it's a bad system that I got stuck in, and it's frankly because of the Spotify like kind of culture we live in. So really trying to shed that part of music and just kind of have fun with it again. And
do DJs release albums often anymore, or is it a single driven economy?
Singles are definitely the move. I mean, some people do release albums. I would say it's more those people that kind of are standout, like I was saying, Skrillex or whatever, like Beethoven. Right. There's just artists who are fucking great musicians and should be releasing albums. You know. Yeah. And I aspire to be like that, frankly, but right now dance singles that I play in my DJ set is kind of what I'm focused on.
Hell
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bro, I fucking love you, dog.
I love you too.
We're
man.
best friends
cool.
now.
Yeah, I know.
This is great.
Stoked.
I'm
cool.
Stoked. Yeah, we'll do pasta night.
Yes.
It's summer, so you guys have to get out of North Hollywood more. You have to go to the beach.
I know.
Go to the beach.
I've been coming here a lot more frequently.
Have you really?
And I feel like our lease is up in November, so maybe it's kind of like
a
little more
move,
west.
Dude. I tell everybody move to the west side.
I know. A lot of my friends are moving out here.
It's more calm. There's less. It's less dirty.
I was living in like Boyle Heights, east of downtown, so like the North Hollywood upgrade was like, oh shit, like this is more calm and more like there's like a park next to my, what I mean? Right. So like this will be like the next iteration of that.
Yeah, definitely. You move further and further west, it just gets more and more chill.
Eventually, island somewhere off the
Catalina
coast.
Island. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, fuck yeah, guys, go check out Group Chat and follow Gesture everywhere.
Peace.
See ya. And that's it. Go check out Group Chat. Go check out Jim and Gesture. All of his music is fantastic. Whether you call him Jim or Gesture, his music is still wonderful medicine. So highly, highly recommend it. Go see him live wherever you can. VibeRose.com is the Vibe. Promo code VIBRATE with a Y in capital letters to get 30% off. Newtopia.com/Brent if you're trying to fix your brain. Cacao Bliss. That's at shop.earthechofoods.com/Brent if you would like a morning boost in your smoothies and coffee. And that's it, man. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, wonderful life, wonderful experience as human beings on this planet, okay? Because you deserve it. Have a good week. I'll see you next time. Bye.